welcome to the very first edition of In the Cave with Coach. I'm Coach Timmons. This is one of my longtime partners, homeboys, Armando. I've been knowing him for over 30 years. And we just gonna chop it up a little bit about men and mental health, which is running rampant, but nobody wanna fucking talk about it. And give you a heads up, we do curse, but it's real talk. Sit back.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. I really appreciate you letting me come out, man. Very first inaugural In the Cage with Coach. And the topic that you're talking about is a real serious one, too. I mean, mental health, black men. We've been knowing each other since, I think it's actually probably closer to 40.
It's closer to 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real, because we was teens.
Right.
And, mental health got a whole lot of plays. And I can't wait till you get into the topics because mental health actually played a big role in me coming up, as far as my father. And I didn't find this out till later on, so a lot of good stuff coming out of there, man.
Well, man, we can actually get right into it. But again, I don't want it just to be question answer. We're gonna just talk.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
And it's all about having conversations.
It's all about it.
That's the thing. And as you know, you've been knowing me a long time.
Right.
It get to a point at our age, thank God I just turned 53 years old.
My man.
That's big,
My man.
especially the neighborhood that we come from.
Right.
And being an entrepreneur,
Right.
just celebrated 16 years, having my own business. It's a lot of stuff they going to play.
Yeah.
Just celebrated.
Yeah.
22 years married.
Look at that. That's big in itself.
All this as a black man.
Yeah.
From Saxon Home.
From Saxon Homes. Yeah. That says enough right there.
Yes.
People that know, a lot of people didn't see 25 coming out of Saxon Homes.
A lot. Yeah. And if you did, some people saw it behind bars.
They saw it behind bars.
So,
Saw it behind bars.
and we saw the reality of that.
Right.
Looking from the outside in.
Right.
So I know when you said mental health, wow,
Yeah.
that thing play a role.
Yeah. And it's not for the fact, like a lot of our friends that's back there, no disrespect, because it is what it is. But we threw enough rocks at the penitentiary too. Mm-hmm. But we just didn't bust no windows.
Hey, I always say
Anyway.
that old song, I Had a Praying Grandmama.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's really, easily could have been, that. And then that's another thing, to be at this age and not have a criminal record.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To have...
Cool. Big ups to you.
That's
But it don't bounce off you on me.
But it's something that I'm saying that I know is people don't realize. Even my oldest daughter, she thought I had, because so much stuff she saw growing up.
Right.
And that's another thing I found out. You can have phases of fatherhood.
Yeah.
Because if you're a father in your early 20s, teenager like I was, 19, versus being a father at 32 and 33, you see things different. So your environmental thinking is different.
Right.
And there's truth in you are a product of your environment too.
Absolutely.
The five, and I found out from. Luckily, I got into reading personal development stuff later on, is that you are the sum of the 5 people you hang with the most. So whatever your circle of 5 usually is, whoever you deal with the most, that's usually going to be within your characteristics, income and food types, and I'm talking about habits. All that's usually the same. You know what I'm saying? You are what you eat.
Because
So you are your circle of friends.
I guess unconsciously, you don't reach further than you feel comfortable with your circle.
And look, Sidney Poitier, and y'all remember him from, he said in the book, it's something that happens to people unconsciously when you walk together. Either they gonna adjust to your pace or you're gonna adjust to theirs.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So if you, it's just something that's, like you said, subconscious you're gonna do. You're gonna develop those habits. People that play good basketball with you, coach,
Right.
were friends that hung out together playing basketball.
That's right.
You never seen a bunch of basketball kids playing with the soccer or football kids.
No.
You know,
Birds of a feather. There you go.
and that's how it goes.
Let's get into one of these questions. Are you dealing with any trauma from your childhood?
Any trauma.
Any trauma?
Look, the body shake, right? Some of my biggest things growing up that I had issues with. I'm not gonna say it because I can't think of mega trauma.
Right.
Because I read this book called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And in the first agreement, they talk about how we are a product of who we raised around. It's absolutely nothing you can do how your parents raised you, how your family raised. It's nothing you can do about it. You know what I'm saying? From the time you're born, if you're born into a home that go to church every Sunday and Wednesday and do, just like if you're born in Jehovah's Witness house, just like if you're born in the Muslim house, just like you're born in, it's nothing you can do about the initial.
Right.
You know, about how you were raised initially.
Right.
That's just the seeds that's planted. And normally they just following things that was planted to them. So early on, a lot of the stuff that I tried to put blame on and fuss on, you know, like not having my dad around, not because my dad abandoned me. You know, that was the difference. And that's where the whole thing about the mental health picture come in. So, so when you ask about my trauma, I met my dad when I was 17 years old. He died when I was 19 years old. So, but it wasn't I had a dad that split on us. I thought I did. Because you only, what you product what you told and you raised around. You see what I'm saying? So I was told, oh, your daddy this, your daddy that, As an adult, I found out, because my dad did 3 tours of Vietnam, he had severe PTSD, which is a mental condition.
Right.
That they talk about now. They give these, you know, soldiers 100% living on the lam, but also soldiers committing suicide every other day. So when he came home from that, he had trauma that they called him crazy and violent and stupid, when it was really just he was a medic in Vietnam for 3 tours. So he had to have some type of trauma that came along.
I mean, look at what he had to endure.
Yeah, so
So that's expected.
but that ain't how they saw it. That ain't how my mom saw it. She just saw it as, I got to protect my children from this crazy ass man. So he was around when I got pictures of him when I was up to 2 years old. But after 2, we moved to New Jersey. Okay. That's another thing. Trauma, you talking about being raised in the hoods of Newark, New Jersey. Yeah. No big brother, no daddy, no uncles, no cousins, no, you see what I'm saying? That it was a sister that was 10 years old and a mom that worked 2 jobs or went to college. Right. Like, it's crazy, it's different, you know? So my trauma would just be the sadness of not having a dad around that wanted to be around. Right. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. That was the difference. Okay. He did not abandon us. Right. They said he was crazy and they hid us. Right. Back then there was no social media. Yeah. You couldn't go Facebook, you couldn't Instagram, you couldn't just find somebody, you know what I'm saying, that decided to get up and leave. Right. But as we all know, in the 70s, it was a violent time for black women too. It was the start of the housing developments and the projects and in that era where they wanted the men out so it was more beneficial. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? My mom got 2 degrees on welfare. You see what I'm saying? 2 degrees living in the project. 2. You know what I'm saying? Because she did that route. No husband in the house, no man, food stamp. But where to leave me, right? From 7 o'clock in the morning to 12 o'clock midnight, from time I was 9 years old, my mom was gone. My sister moved out when I was 6 or 7. Seriously. Like, and I had to take care of Corey. So trauma to me different. You know what I'm saying? Because I grew up in Newark with a shoestring on my neck, with a little boy in these apartments every day waiting for mom to get home. So that was my trauma. I wish I could just lived in Saks home growing up, where at least I can go outside and have friends.
Right.
You know what I mean? Up there, you go outside.
Might not come back in.
Well,
Not the same as you went out.
yeah, but we took chances up there too,
Yeah.
because it's where you were. You know, it's that environment again.
That's right.
You know, that was a blessing for me that my mom let me grow up in Newark, and not just grow up in South Carolina. But every summer I spent in Saks home,
Right.
so it was that Newark style projects growing and for school time, and then Southern projects in the wintertime, in the summertime.
I got you.
That's how I know how to swim.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna piggyback off that a little bit. Talking about the father that wasn't there, and I'm gonna be brief. I met my dad. Excuse me. I met who they told me was my dad at 38 years old. And the first thing he said to me was, "Don't say nothing to my wife. She don't know nothing about you." And right then, I said to myself, "Fuck you, man. I'm 38. I don't need nothing from you, bro. I just want to speak." You know what I mean? The first thing you say to me, bro, don't say nothing to my wife because she don't know nothing about you. So, anyway, back to you. Let me go into the next question, man. Yeah. Because when I'm not wearing this shirt just to wear it.
Yeah,
I'm really fucked up, man.
I understand.
But I'm working on being a better person.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
working.
all you can do.
I'm working on it.
That's all we all better be doing.
That's
every
it.
day.
And I say this all the time. People see you for where you are now. They see what you got. They see what you're doing. They figure you got it put together. No, nigga.
Yeah,
I ain't got it.
It's a lot of it.
It's like, you know how a duck look just floating on the water? Everything looks so smooth.
Yeah.
But if you put the camera under the water and you see his feet, and he's doing this right here, that's how I am.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. No, and it better yet than a duck. Think about the tip of the iceberg people see floating out. That's small.
Yeah. You don't see everything that's in the water.
Yeah, that's how entrepreneurship is when somebody finally becomes successful.
Yeah.
People always point the finger and say, dang, I wish I was that. They don't see that struggle, that them crying nights.
Yeah.
But one thing I do gotta say though, and this is probably why I don't have the childhood trauma I would have. Because remember, I did tell you I did meet my dad
Right, you did.
at 17.
Right.
He took me in with super open arms.
Yeah.
Like, took me up to, my dad is from the country,
Right.
mountains in Virginia.
Right.
He took me up there, kept me for a summer. I stayed a whole summer with my dad and let me drive his car. We played basketball and took me hunting. I went fishing and he showed me how to, he hung hogs in his thing and shoot a 30-06 rifle. And he tried to catch up all the stuff that my mom took from him.
Yeah, as quick as he could. He tried to catch it all up. Yeah.
Like, for real talk. And the only reason I got to see him, my dad had died from Agent Orange. So he had a tumor in his head nobody knew about. And he fell off a building. He was a roofer, fell off a building. And when they went to take tumor out, they told him the risk of dying. So my mom finally said, y'all might, we got daddy? Yeah, he in Virginia. What? You haven't talked to his Aunt Jenny for what? You always knew? My sister, yeah, we knew. You knew too?
Yeah.
We ain't want you to be like, hey, your dad is crazy.
See that? I get it, man. I get it. Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah. Have a drink, man.
My dad was 100% disabled. Today, the way things are now, my dad would have been sitting on all kinds of stuff. Blue, Purple Heart, all that stuff he went through.
Pops.
To you, Dad. Who birthday is coming up actually in a couple days. 12 days, 13 days. Yeah. Today my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday, Mom.
83 years old.
My man. That's a blessing in itself.
Definitely is.